If you want to see a movie so chaotically written and shot that you'd swear you were epileptic, about a poor waiter whose biography is somehow online and available for terrorists to read, and that tries to convince you that Regina Daniels is some sort of actress or something. AY the Comedian's The Waiter, which is currently streaming on Netflix, is the movie for you. The story follows the events surrounding a hotel siege where the terrorists are somehow able to wire 300 billion from a ministry's account, while our able waiter, who can fight just about as well as any soldier, even more than most, tries to thwart them. So this is basically Die Hard at Crystal Valley Hotel. Well, it's not really my fault. They forgot to change the name on the podium. Apos, played by AY the Comedian, is a worry, as he never fails to remind us, hustler who is moonlighting as a waiter for a poverty alleviation conference being hosted by the Minister of Welfare and Poverty Alleviation, as well as the Labour Congress chairman, who is obviously a parody of the chairman of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Adam Soshomole. Apos begins his hotel waiter job by first coming late and then making a pass at a woman whom he didn't know was his manager. It's so weird how his response to Regina Daniels calling him a clown was that if she gave him a chance to sleep with her, she would, I don't know, crown his effort. I don't know, like what? From where to where? I had no idea where that came from. And if not that the subtitles were on, I would have had no idea what he was talking about. Because he said, if I lie you in state, what are you talking about, guy? From where to where? At the main conference, the minister announces that her ministry has about 300 billion to disburse to reduce poverty in the country, and is soon rudely interrupted by Bucci Franklin's Tony Bright, a former soldier who used the press pass to access the event. At some point, he asks if the minister can guarantee that the money won't simply disappear into his account. And I was a little surprised to hear the minister, played by Shafi Bello, reply that life has no guarantees. I have no idea. Like, I don't know if Shafi just made up that answer on the spot, what we call an ad-lib, but it made no sense because nobody in the audience, even Bright himself, seemed to realize that she had basically just promised to steal the money. So this evil plan is actually in phases, and the phases, it makes no sense. I have no idea what they're yapping about. All the bad characters quickly position themselves around the various points at the hotel and, kidnap some people and lock up some people and take them hostage and whatever. And the terrorism stuff begins in earnest. Now, the phase one of the plan was giving poor people on the streets free t-shirts for some reason. I don't know, man. They also knock out the guards in the hotel security control room with sleeping gas before setting the siege in motion. Now, after locking down the hotel, the terrorists begin to broadcast their message to the whole world, basically yapping about revolution and how the masses are suffering. Basically what I assume that Sahara Reporter guy, Showore, would do if you gave him a gun and asked him to play out that his revolution now madness that he brings to every legitimate protest in Nigeria. For some reason, we even see cameos of Dino Melaye in his over-designed house, which I really don't understand how he's able to sleep at night with all this shiny rubbish. And Obi Kubana in his office responding to the siege. Like, why? Why are they in this movie? No one knows. Just a waste of... You know what? Let me just calm down. So, AY, the super fighter with no history of fighting or security work, quickly overpowers the terrorists who have taken over the restaurant he was at, and he soon finds himself rescuing and staying close to Regina Daniels, also known as Idara in this movie. He also later joins up with the hotel's chief security officer to take down some of the bad guys in the outer reaches of the hotel. There is really a lot of wasted footage in this thing, like a lot of stuff that should not be there, like... There's this part where AY and Idara arrive somewhere and they look like they have just entered heaven. I was a bit confused because Regina even says, wow, I've never been to this part of the hotel. And it's just a room. I don't get. Is the hotel not made up of hundreds of rooms? Why are they fascinated by this one room? I was confused. Was this part of another plot in the movie? Of course, outside the hotel, the police are gathering. This one, I am reliably told, is Toke Makinwa. I honestly didn't recognize her and I didn't agree until much later because I just saw a lot of lips when I looked at her. So I guess there was a new hardware update I was not aware of. There is an astonishing amount of nonsensical plots that don't go anywhere. It's difficult to narrate this movie. It's like a cobweb that was run through by a car. I don't really know how to For like, there's this thing where they try to set up where every time the hotel's CSO disarmed a terrorist, he would discover that their gun magazines had no bullets in them. And I was like, oh, does it mean that none of the terrorists actually have bullets in their guns? But then that went nowhere, since they were shot at exactly 2 scenes later with guns that were very full of bullets. So I don't really understand why they wanted to make it look like the terrorists didn't have bullets. I don't know. I don't know. There was even like a lot of shenanigans where the terrorists, I don't know, out of view of the camera at some point, set up a fake court to maybe try the politicians, even though nobody actually got tried. That whole thing went nowhere. Just like the water this baby is drinking went nowhere because there's no water in that cup. And I don't even understand how the actress herself did not call it out. It's a glass cup, for God's sake. You should be able to tell that there's no water. Like, as you were drinking it, did you not notice that there was, like... Anyway, the grand plan is for the terrorists to get the 300 billion from the ministry's account and distribute it to thousands of Nigerians as part of, I don't know, revolution something. I don't know. After taking their own cuts, of course. Now, Apo soon comes to the notice of the head terrorist, Tonye Bright, and Tonye then asks his babe to bring up more information on Apos, which she magically did by typing his name to the computer. And what I found unbelievable is the biography that came up for Apos, and where it even came from in the first place. Now, Apos is a simple waiter who has never hinted at another life before his current struggles. But if you have time to read this badly misspelled gibberish, you will see that Apos, whose mother and sister are suffering, is somehow a serial entrepreneur and is widely traveled with business interests in South Africa and Miami. I mean, this waiter in this hotel, he's a subterranean wrestler known for his violent stake with bottle. Whatever that means. What violent stake? Did they mean to write like skills, or I don't know. He protects his loved ones, etc. Like, where is all this information? Where is it coming from, for the love of God? Who entered it into a computer for Tonye Bright to read? As someone told me on IG when I brought up this point while writing this review, you would think that Abuz was a video game character from the way that he is written. Basically, it was just a very stupid element in this movie. And I like how Tonye says, scroll down. Scroll down to where, my guy? Did we not just see the whole story? Oga terrorists. The police finally sent in a squad to take out the terrorist against the advice of Toke Makenwa, to this clown from Police HQ who spends all his time in this movie trying and failing to be humorously incompetent. It turns into a gun battle and all the policemen are killed, much to the chagrin of and dismay of Tonye, who had intended for this whole thing to be bloodless. Now, after a lot of shenanigans with AY rescuing Idara from these hoodlums, Tonye orders his men to bring AY to him. Now, for some reason I don't understand, Tonye sends his men to, who are in worry, I guess, to take care of Aposi's mom and sister and give them money. I don't understand. Did he do this because he read Aposi's biography? Was he terrified of the typos or what? I don't get why that was the plot in this movie. The gang then later make their escape after sending thousands of Nigerians 1 million naira each, and they escape by mingling with the crowd. AY also later tries to kiss Ned Nwoko's wife, who I also hear is an actress. But that is obviously not going to happen. And so we come to the end of this gibberish nonsense. Oh, and there is some sort of epilogue where the police, being directed by RMD, converge on Tonye Bright's location about 3 months later. I really don't know why this part is in the movie or what it adds to the story, but okay. And yeah, that's the end of it. Okay, so let's talk about this. First of all, I think it's supposed to be like an action comedy, but what it really is boring. The script is gibberish. The idealism from the terrorists was juvenile, and the whole setup was just a little embarrassing to be on Netflix, especially after you see the special effects. I vacillated between seeing it as a light-hearted satire on the Nigerian condition or a serious attempt at filmmaking. But every now and then, the script seemed to take itself serious, so I decided to do so too. I don't think the acting is that bad, I guess, well, except for Regina Daniels, who everyone agrees is a sort of actress, but who I think should just remain a video vixen for flavor. Nice gown, though. One of the worst things about this movie is the visual effects. The police helicopter flying all around like mosquitoes and the name of the hotel are so badly tracked and integrated into the shots that I initially thought maybe it was done on purpose to telegraph how silly a film the filmmakers actually wanted to make. And then I just decided that it was just plain incompetence. As for the main theme itself, the Minister of Welfare made a surprisingly valid point, which I liked, about needing the Ministry of Finance and the CBN signatures to effect the transfer. But I was then curious as to how they were going to explain it away, because how would you transfer this money now without those signatures? But they just decided that Tony Bright's girlfriend, who is a mole working as the minister's assistant, could somehow use some tech magic to bypass the signatories. And I tell you, as I wrote that line in the review, my mind was torn asunder as I suddenly asked myself, wait, why was all this stuff necessary in the first place? If the girlfriend could have bypassed the minister and the signatories and had crammed the 16-digit code for the transfer, then why is anybody here at all taking people hostage? Like, why didn't they just steal the money from their hotel bedrooms and never need to carry guns and beat anybody? Because in the end, the minister gave up no information, except maybe they had planned to incite an actual revolution by doing this thing live on TV. But in the end, they never incited any protest or anything. So, yeah, notwithstanding the phase one of the plan where they shared revolution shares to poor people. So, you could have, why not just broadcast to the nation from your hotel room and then hack the money and send it to the citizens? I don't get, I have no idea why this whole movie was made since. Anyway, yeah, that's basically the whole thing. The movie was quite tiresome. I think I saw it over 2 or 3 days and I watched it like 4 or so times before I could finish it. The movie didn't really know where it wanted to go to. It just suffers from too much talk and too much chaoticness. If you even see the fight scenes, everything was so shaky and I'm like, what is happening? You should come down, let me see what's happening now. The cameraman was just vibrating or I don't know what's happening. Why is this so shaky? If I wanted to score this movie over 5, I would give it a 1 because I was not really sure what I was watching, guys. I don't know what inspired AY, but I hope it's not Funke Akindele because I don't even know if that one also knows what she's doing. I recently saw Everybody Loves Jennifer. I wanted to review it, but that was such a mess. I had no idea which storyline was which, and I just stopped typing after like 5 lines because I'm like, I don't even know what's happening here. Anyway, that will be all for my review of The Waiter by AY the comedian. You can also see some of my thoughts while watching these movies in real time on my Instagram. So follow me at Ekwe Reviews on IG. All right then, see you on the next one.